Retro Ghetto.
Hi everybody and welcome back to the Retro Ghetto. So previously I made a video looking at great games that you can buy at CX right now for £3 and under. And I thought the natural progression for me would be then to step it up and look at great games we can buy for £4 and under. Since then this country's officially entered into a recession, and I found a few games whilst I was researching for the £4 and under that were actually £2 and under, and I thought I'm going to challenge myself to try and find you good people 10 good video games that you can pick up now for £2 and under. Just a £2 coin can get you some very good video games. As previously, I'm going to try and stay away from the ones that you guys have already played, the ones you already own if you're a collector. Your Gears of War series, your Halos, your Uncharted's. We're going to try and stay away from the major franchises. There's going to be one or two hidden gems in here for you guys, and hopefully you can pick yourselves up a bargain along the way. And speaking of amazing things that you can do for just £2, I would be remiss if I didn't mention last week's video. I'm trying to raise as much money as possible for an amazing charity called Alzheimer's Research UK. I've put a link in the description for both last week's video and the Just Giving page where you can give as little as just £2 to this amazing charity. And you also have the potential to get your name or your message on the Retro Ghetto 3.0 floorboard where it's going to live forever. Please check it out if you haven't thus far, and a massive thank you to everybody that has already donated. Let's get into the list. Okay, so the first game we're going to be talking about is on the Nintendo Wii, and it costs just £2, and that is Ghost Squad. Ghost Squad is a light gun rail shooter developed and published by Sega. It released in Europe in 2008, and it also has 4-player support. This game is everything that you want from the Nintendo Wii. This is where the Nintendo Wii really holds up to this day, and it still shines when you can use the Wiimote as a light gun accessory. I love playing on rail shooters on the Nintendo Wii, and as I say, I think that's, at this point in time, I think those are the best games that really stand the test of time to this day. Ghost Squad's a fantastic game. You play a counter-terrorism group, you're freeing hostages, you're doing all the things that you want to do when you've got a gun accessory in your hand. This is an amazing game for just £2. Don't let this one pass you by. Okay, so I don't actually own this next game yet, but I'll be sure to keep an eye out for it next time I'm digging through the shelves at CEX. You know exactly what you're going to get with a Lego game. You're going to get a very well polished game that's fun for all the family. The problem is no Lego games are cheap enough to make this list. Except bizarrely, this one, which is bundled with another game. And that is Pure and Lego Batman. Batman is one of them franchises that everybody enjoys to some extent. Couple it with Lego, it's so much fun for all the family, as I've said. Pure's an off-road racer, which, you know, is a fun game in its own right, but to get both of these games for £1.50, it's as good of a bargain as you will find on any system in video games today. Pick this one up for £1.50.
Retro Ghetto.
When we think about video games and video game prices in particular, there are certain genres that we know are going to hold their value. Often we look at one-on-one fighters, shmups, survival horror. Well, you might be surprised to know that I can find a good survival horror game. For just £1.50 you can pick up Darkness. Darkness is a 2007 first-person survival horror shooter. And as I said, how many horror games are this cheap? A genre known for maintaining its value. This got a very good rating on its launch. Steam rated it a 9 out of 10. IMDb gave it 8.2 out of 10. And if horror's your thing, you can't really go wrong for a survival horror game for just £1.50. There's also Darkness 2, which is also very cheap to pick up, so you can pick up both these games for less than £5, I believe. If horror's your thing, this is a no-brainer. And next up, we're going to be looking at PlayStation 2. This was a game released in 2003 by Manchester's own Acclaim Studios, and that is Gladiator Sword of Vengeance. This is very much a 3D hack-and-slash beat-em-up style game, and it's very much got that feel of a AAA big game. It came out 3 years after the Gladiator movie, I believe, and it's very much in that tone. I've often been quite critical of the PlayStation 2 and its graphics. I don't think that many games have held up today, certainly for me and my old man eyes. But this is definitely bucking that trend. This game still looks very visually impressive to this day. You play as a gladiator that starts off fighting in the crowds of the Colosseum, and you're then transported to fighting mythical beasts and historical figures. It really has got everything that you would want from a game based on ancient Roman mythology. This game has an epic soundtrack, a big game feel. If you're a fan of franchises like God of War, you'll enjoy this one. There's a lot of video game here for just £2.
An excellent kill! Free that gladiator! Wait! On second thoughts, execute him. It's much more entertaining.
Okay, so back to the Nintendo Wii with a bit of a change of pace here, and that is 2008's Zack and Wiki. Zack and Wiki plays as an adventure stroke puzzle game. It's really got fantastic visual graphics that hold up very well. I think these are some of the nicest visuals on the Nintendo Wii. Because it's done in like a 2D art style, often the Wii's 3D attempts don't necessarily hold up. They can become a little bit muddied because this was like before the HDMI era. But the visuals on this one hold up very, very well indeed. This was a game that I picked up and I thought I'll just give it a go, and I ended up playing it for about 4 hours straight. There's definitely something about this game which is very addicting. It's very rewarding when you solve the puzzles, and again, it's another one that's very fun for all the family. If you've got young children, this is definitely something that you could enjoy playing together. There's enough in here for both kids and adults alike to enjoy. And it makes great use of the Wii motion controls. Again, it's one of them games that you really want to be taking advantage of on the Nintendo Wii. The Wii motion on this is some of the best that you'll ever play on the system. There's so many different things and actions throughout the game that really get you to use intuitive play. And again, if you've got children, this is one that they're definitely going to enjoy. And for just £2, you cannot go wrong with Zack and Wiki Quest for Barbarossa's Treasure. Okay, so this next one is a little bit of a cheat code, but for the value you get out of this game, I couldn't not put it on the list, and that is 1945 1 and 2. This game will cost you £3, but the way I see it, it's 2 games here, so let's call it £1.50 each to get it on the list. 1945 1 and 2 are classic shmups, another genre which is known for maintaining its value. This game is not going to be £3 forever. There's a lot of content here for that price. If you're a shmup fan or you're thinking about getting into the genre, this is very much a gateway shmup or one that you can enjoy, or maybe you're just sort of learning the genre as I am myself. I'm not quite accustomed to bullet hell just yet, but these sort of games are where I'm really finding my feet with the series and the genre, should I say. Yeah, fantastic games. 1945 1 and 2, arcade classics, £1.50 each.
Retro Ghetto.
Okay, so next up is a game that I've only recently discovered and started to enjoy myself, and that is SSX, also known as SSX 2012. This is another game which is just £2. It got an IGN rating of 9 out of 10, an 82 Metacritic score. This came after a bit of a hiatus in the SSX series, and it came out to critical acclaim, so it was definitely worth the wait. They kind of just took that SSX formula that we all know and love, and they just kind of ramped it up a bit. Turned it up to 11, if you will. This game utilised Google Earth and uses real-world locations. You're going from the Great Wall of China to inside volcanoes and everything in between. As I say, it took everything from the previous SSX games, turned it up a bit. Somehow this game just passed me by. I remember enjoying the SSX Tricky franchise, or the other SSXs on the PlayStation 1 and 2. But for some reason, on this console generation, it passed me by. You can pick this up on both Xbox 360 and PS3 for just slightly more. If you're a fan of those kind of games, you can't really go wrong. Equally, if you've already played through the SSX game, you can also pick up Amped 3. I won't say this is quite as good and it's a bit out there, but there's still definitely fun to be had under the £2 budget with this one as well. So yeah, if you're a fan of X games and snowboarding in general, you can't really go wrong with either game. Next up is a game that I was shocked to see so cheap. Now, it is available on Game Pass, I believe, which does affect the value. But I know a lot of you watching are like me, you physical game collectors. And for just £2, you can pick up this game, which was given an IGN 9 out of 10, a Eurogamer 5 out of 5, and holds a Metacritic score of 89. And that is 2016's Titanfall 2. A first-person shooter which obviously had a large online community, but I'm putting on this list purely for its solo campaign. That's how I played through this. And in terms of first-person shooters, this is one of the best solo campaigns you will be able to find. Very fluid gameplay, a really enjoyable mech that you're able to utilise throughout the campaign. And if you haven't played through Titanfall 2's campaign for just £2, you can't go wrong. So this last game, I've recently been speaking about my love of this franchise on the channel. I recently discovered the second entry in this game, and it really did get me into this series of games, and I've since played through all of them and I thoroughly enjoy them. This last game on the list is just £1, and who knows, maybe in a future video I'll be able to find you guys 10 great video games for just £1. Now that would be a challenge. And that is Darksiders. It's one of those series of games where I would say it is advantageous to start with the first game in the series, so Darksiders for me would be the place to start. Released in 2010, it's a hack and slash adventure, beginning of the story of the 4 horsemen of the apocalypse. You play as war in this stunning mythological universe. I mean, that sentence alone should be enough to sell you for £1, right? If you haven't played the Darksiders series, check it out for just £1. Okay, that's it. So I think that's 10 plus games that you guys can pick up for just £2 or less, which is staggering to me in this day and age, right? Everything's so expensive. A cheeseburger's almost £2 now from McDonald's. So the fact that you can go out and buy a quality video game for £2 or less, yeah, it's somewhat mind-blowing. As I say, on this list, there are just arcade games that you can pick up and have a bit of fun with for an hour or two at a time. There's also AAA titles in here that you can have hours and hours, and there's vast amount of content for yeah, just less than £2. If you enjoyed this video and you want to see future lists of cheap video games that I can recommend, keep it locked to the Retro Ghetto. And as I say, I might just challenge myself to do a list of video games that you can pick up for just £1. On Sunday, I'm going to have a huge update on the Retro Ghetto 3.0. I didn't put an update out last week because we're in the middle of doing something very special and I wanted to be able to bring you the whole process rather than cut off halfway through. So yeah, make sure you're checking that out on Sunday. And of course, I've got to again highlight the amazing charity that is Alzheimer's Research UK. The links are in the description below. I want to give a massive thank you to everybody that has generously given thus far. As I said at the start of the video, we have entered into a recession, so the fact that you guys have been so generous to give to this amazing cause is genuinely heartwarming. If you haven't given yet and you would like to do so, the links are in the description below. Thanks again, as usual. Play your games, keep it retro. I'll see you on the next one. Take care.
Retro Ghetto.